शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 Let us see where we are in the Bhashya. We are almost done with number 42 on page 273. No, it's just the second paragraph on the page 273. Okay. Annamayadibhyah आनन्दमयान्तेभ्यः आत्मभ्यः अभ्यन्तरतमं ब्रह्म विद्यया प्रत्यगात्मत्वेन दिदर्शयिषु शास्त्रम् अविद्याकृतपञ्चकोश अपनयनेन अनेकतुषकोद्रव वितुषीकरणेन इव तदन्तर्गत तण्डुलान् प्रस्तौति तस्माद्वा एतस्माद् अन्नरसमयात् ityadi. This is what we have almost finished looking at. But since there has been a gap, I think it is worth just refreshing my memory, if not yours. Okay, so just to catch up and just to make ourselves on par with what is happening. So what is this? This is what is called Sangati Bhashya. Sangati means it's a connection to the next thing that is going to come. And what is the next thing that's going to come? Pranamaya. That's what is going to come. So another, what is its name? Another place where there is a uniform mistake made. You see, in the correction of the mistakes, the Shastra only looks for universal mistakes. So if supposing, somebody took, let's say there is a response, there is some, you ask somebody a question, and then there is a room full of people, each one took the question to mean a certain thing in a certain way. One person said, "Why are you questioning me? Who are you to question me?" The other person said, "Oh, if you're asking the question, that means I must be inadequate." So came to the conclusion that one was inadequate. The third one misinterpreted the question itself. The fourth one was checked out and did not even listen to the question. Like this, there will be specific, what is that called? Personal problems or personal or subjective mistakes. This is what is called pratibhasika, subjective mistakes. But then this pratibhasika is both at the vyashti and the samashti level. These mistakes are happening at the individual level. So when they happen at the individual level, there's nothing more to be said. It's just that you have to go and correct the mistake or have your head examined, whichever comes first. Okay, so this is what you have to do. You have to somehow correct the mistake. If you think somebody is berating you when they are just, they are just frowning for some other reason which has nothing to do with you, then you have to correct that mistake. You have to either belabor that mistake, or you have to tell yourself, this is, I have to ask the person, and then you correct the mistake. Did you really mean this? They will say, no, I was just trying, I was thinking, I was in my own world, and this is what happened, etc., etc. All right. So now that is that is what we call an individual mistake. So the Shastra is not interested in pointing out the individual mistakes and correcting the individual mistakes, because how many people are there in the world? 8 billion. Yeah. So then each one is not that you can only assign one mistake to one person. One person can commit 1,000 mistakes at the minimum in one's lifetime. So you can see how many mistakes the Shastra has to deal with it. This becomes very cumbersome, unwieldy, and impractical. So the Shastra only deals with universal mistakes, common mistakes committed at the samashti level, at the group level, so that everybody, for example, commits an adhyasa, a projection, has a similar projection when they see the sunset. So if you're on the west coast of the United States and you look at the sunset, and it looks like the sun is falling inside the ocean, and then you participate in that. Everybody participates. It's a collective delusion. It's a collective delusion, because and then you see all the orange colors and the pink colors and the purple colors of the sunset. There is such a thing called sunset. You can Google it and then you can get all pictures. You can get a definition. But it's not really that the sun is setting at all. Everybody knows this. Anybody who has been to a third grade, fourth grade geography class knows this. That the sun, even though you know it, everybody participates in it because of how it appears. The appearance itself leads to the mistake. This is what we have to understand. A particular kind of an appearance leads to the mistake. So this is what is called jnanadhyasa. Jnanadhyasa means it is all Ishvara Srishti. So jnanena adhyasasya nivrittihi. That's why it's called jnanadhyasa. So this adhyasa goes, the projection is resolved how? Merely through knowledge, not that we are trying to correct the projection. We are not trying to correct the roots of the projection, meaning we are not trying to change the perception. The perception will continue long after the impression of that perception has been, the perception will continue, but there is only one difference within you. What is that? The ignorance of that phenomenon has been changed to the knowledge of the phenomenon. So it becomes badhita adhyasa. It is an adhyasa, all right. Adhyasa means it's a projection, all right. But what kind of a projection? A sublated projection, badhita adhyasa, and as though negated projection. The projection is there, but really what projection? There is no projection. So same thing, certain things cannot be removed. If you see the whole Jagat as an adhyasa of this Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma, then you say, oh, now I am enlightened. Off with the Jagat. But Jagat is not going to go anywhere. It was there long before you came, and it will likely continue long after your body, mind, sense complex and the Ahankara is gone. It was already there. And what a Jagat! Mind-boggling Jagat. It's just amazing. Now they have a new way of looking at the DNA. So they drilled into the rocks in Greenland and other places in the Arctic. They drilled into the rocks, and where these, what kind of rocks? These petrified, fossilized rocks. They drilled into it and extricated remnants of DNA from various areas. They also looked at some soils, not the soil on top, because that will be very new. Go underneath the ground certain feet, and then you get that ancient soil, whatever it is. And then from there, they can paint a picture. Greenland was like Northern California, always in the 60s and 70s. This is what they have found out. And there was all kinds of wonderful temperate plants, and there were all these birds You can say they were hares, they were geese, and they were, they were even those were some kind of a woolly mammoths were there. All this, I mean, that was a surprise. They didn't expect the woolly mammoths to be there. Mastodons or whatever they are called. These some kind of a cross between elephant and woolly mammoth, and all this they found. So this Greenland was not at all not icy and anything. And so like this millions of years ago, this is how it was. And so this is the Jagat. So the Jagat is here. And you can see that it is Ishvara Srishti. And that Ishvara Srishti is not going to go anywhere. Even though you have falsified the Ishvara Srishti by saying it is nothing but a projection of Ishvara, and that Ishvara is verily me. Okay, you've said that. Good for you. Shabash. But that doesn't mean the Jagat is going to go away. Jagat is not going to go away. Sunset is not going to go away. And then similarly, you say blue sky. Sky is blue. Sky is not blue. Sky is colorless. There is, in fact, no such thing as sky because of the atmosphere and everything. And then, the water droplets, a series of phenomenon, it appears to be blue. So, blue sky, sunrise, sunset, and all these things are what? They are they are here to stay. They are all examples of what is called jnanadhyasa. There are many kinds of adhyasas, but this is a very important one. Jnanadhyasa. There is generally two, first difference is on the level of two things. One is those kinds of projections, Ishvaric projections, which do not go away even after you have called their bluff. Then there are other kinds of projections, Jiva's projections, which go away after you call the bluff. Like what? What is an example of the latter? Our stock example, rope snake. So when you see the snake, quote unquote snake, when you see, then you get scared. But then you put the light, you shine the light upon the so-called snake, and it turns out to be a rope. And then what happens to the aropa? When the rope has been cognized, the aropa is retracted. No more is there snake. You cannot even say it disappeared into the bushes. It was right there. It was never there. It was your own projection from your own mind, which is from the standpoint of, the nivritti based projection, fear based projection. Nivritti means that which you want to get rid of. Fear based projection. And from this fear-based projection, what happened? The projection was withdrawn. Why was the projection withdrawn? The projection was withdrawn because it had no basis. The knowledge showed that it was a rope, and nobody is afraid of a rope. And so the projection that was put upon the rope without knowing the rope as rope has been withdrawn. No more there is snake. Snake gone. So like this, so many things, so many examples are there. You fill a glass half with water and then you put a pencil at an angle in it, pen or a pencil. Then you look at it. Then what happens? You see the pencil is bent. Then you take out the pencil and then, oh, it's not bent at all. It's straight. And then you put it back in, it is bent. You see, like this. So, like that, there are certain apparitions or certain appearances. So, jnanadhyasa and arthadhyasa. Arthadhyasa is those kinds of projections that can be that upon knowing the truth of that projection, the projection itself can be withdrawn. It goes away. This is arthadhyasa. And then jnanadhyasa means even though you know that it is a projection, the things that are making the projection, they do not go away. The so-called ingredients involved in the projection, the sun, the water, and the clouds and the colors, they do not go away. And the appearance of the sun falling in the water does not go away. And so this is what we have. This is the two kinds of adhyasas. Why are we talking about the two kinds of adhyasas? Because it is very, very pertinent to this Panchakosha Prakriya, this particular pedagogical tool called the pedagogy of the five koshas. And we have just finished studying one kosha, and we are about to go to the other kosha. Now, my question for you is this Annamaya, and now what is going to follow from this Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, these places where one can take oneself to be what one is not. Like one can take oneself to be the body, and one, even though one is not the body, one can take oneself to be one's hunger, even though one is not one's hunger. One can take oneself to be one's thoughts and emotions, even though one is not one's thoughts and emotions. This is Manomaya. Vijnanamaya, one can take oneself to be an actor, even though the I, the Atma, as revealed by the Shastra, is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. It is not an actor. One can take oneself to be the Bhokta, to be the recipient of other people's karma, even though that is not the case. And so this is definitely an adhyasa. It's a projection because you are seeing something that is not there. My question to you is, what kind of adhyasa is it? Is it arthadhyasa or is it jnanadhyasa?
Jnanadhyasa.
Jnanadhyasa. Why? Because even though you know you are not the body, your body is not going to disappear. Your body is not going to undergo a disappearance. Otherwise, I tell you already, so few people interested in Vedanta. If the body was going to disappear, nobody will come. They will say, no, thank you. No, thank you. Body doesn't disappear. Prana doesn't disappear. Thank God. Otherwise, you will be hyperventilating as you understand the pranamaya kosha and then stop breathing altogether. No, prana doesn't disappear. Mind doesn't disappear. It's all there. So it is all jnanadhyasa all the way. From the Annamaya kosha all the way to Anandamaya kosha, where these five areas of error are there. These errors are because I do not understand the truth of the apparent reality. That is where the error is. So now that I understand the apparent reality, I understand that this is just an apparent and empirical reality. It's not the absolute. The absolute reality is that Brahman, that consciousness, which upholds all these various things mistaken for the Atma. It upholds Annamaya, which was mistaken for the Atma. Then it upholds the Pranamaya, which was again mistaken for the Atma. Then it upholds the Manomaya, which was mistaken for the Atma. Then it upholds the Vijnanamaya, which was mistaken to be the Atma. Then it upholds the Anandamaya also, which was mistaken to be the Atma. In other words, all of them are Atma. Atma is not any one of them. They're not away from the Atma. That's why Anyontara Atma Apranamaya. We are going to see that. So that's why Anyontara Atma, Anyaha Atma and Antara Atma. This is a particular, very beautiful pedagogy. And that pedagogy is described here very nicely in this line number 42. Annamayadibhyah, Anandamayantebhyah, Atmabhyah, all in fifth case, okay? So from the Annamaya to all the way to Anandamaya, all these various quote unquote Atmas, there's only one Atma, but all of them are non separate from Atma. Abhyantaratamam Brahma. So, where is this Brahman? It is as it were discovered in and through. This Abhyantaratamam means the innermost. Why is it called innermost? Because discovering which there is no need to go any further. And it is not possible to go any further either. So that is why it is innermost, abhyantaratamam brahma. And then pratyagatmatvena didarshaishu shastram. So this shastra is desirous. It is, it is desirous of showing. Darshayatum ichu. This shastra is interested in showing what? That this Abhyantara tamam Brahma, this Brahman which is in and through, as though inhering all the various koshas without becoming, quote unquote, without becoming any one of them, without becoming any one of them. It is inhering each and every kosha without becoming any one of them. That much we have to understand, and that Brahman is alone there, and then that has to be understood as oneself. Pratyagatmatvena, as oneself alone. There is no other way to understand. That it has to be understood pratyagatmatvena, and desirous of doing that, that is what this shastra is purport is there. The commitment of the shastra is to show that alone and nothing else. And so that is, that is the commitment of the shastra. How will it show this? Vidyaya. This we should not forget. It's not that it will like peeling of the onion. This onion metaphor sometimes these acharyas give. It's not very helpful at all, because the onion actually has layers you can peel and you can show. But then here there is nothing to peel. And so the onion metaphor is not very appealing where we are concerned. So, but here it's vidyaya, through the teaching alone. Because the kosha is internalized as I, a particular. So the kosha is a covering. Can the Atma ever be covered? No. But then here it is covered. How? What is the covering agent, so to speak? The covering agent, the covering is mithya. It is avidya. Avidya is the covering, and the covering, the avidya is removed. And avidya being removed, there is no covering, there was no covering, but it was taken to be a covering as a kosha. Therefore, it was vidyaya. Vidyaya pratyagatvatmena didarshaishu shastram. So it is wanting to do this apanayanam. He's going to say that avidyakrita panchakosha apanayanena. Apanayana means removal. Through the removal of the koshas, of the five koshas. Five koshas, how? Which are created. It's very, very interesting. He says avidya krita. Krita means created. These koshas are not there. They are created because of avidya. They are the spawn or the spin-off of avidya. Sometimes they have a TV show which is very, very successful, and then they have a spin-off. This is just like that. So this is the spin-off of avidya, leads to these five locus, five areas where the mistake is made. I'm as good as the body, Annamaya, and I'm as good as the prana. I am Annamaya. I am the modification of food. I am the modification of my respiration and all other subtle body functions. I am the subtle body, and I am the mind. And then I am the doer. I am the experiencer / enjoyer, however you want to put it, depending on whether you're having a good day or not. If you're having a good day, you can translate bhokta as enjoyer. Otherwise, you can just say experiencer. So this is what it is. So this I am, the I am has gone and joined the Annamaya, and that joining is itself has made it a kosha, a covering. Why? Avidya kritena. This is a product. This is a creation of my own ignorance. Very beautiful. Avidya krita. Really speaking, there is no kosha. Up till now, the word kosha, even though Adi Shankara knows the meaning of the word kosha, he has not used it at all. Now he is using it again to show how the pedagogical tool of the Shastra is deployed here in the form of this, what we call the Panchakosha Prakriya. Very, very beautiful. So here he says that this avidya krita panchakosha. So this panchakosha is purely a fabrication of avidya. There is no such thing as panchakosha. It becomes a pitfall because of avidya. I take myself to be the body, I take myself to be the mind, etc., etc. Apanayanena. So, in the form, Itham Bhute Tritiya, in the form of opening or removing this Panchakosha, which is the product of avidya. How? Through Brahma Vidya, through showing what Brahman is. Through that, it is done. How? Aneka tusha kodrava vitushikaranena iva tad antargata tandulan prastauti tasmadva etasmad annarasamayad ityadina. So here this is the idea. The another example is given. When we were discussing the Annamaya, there was one example. Musha nishikta druta tamravat, meaning it is like a crucible, and then in that the molten metal is poured. The molten metal is the smelted metal is poured, and here another one is given. So there is such a grain, an ancient grain called kodrava. Kodrava means it's like a wild rice. It's I don't know if they still have it, but in Adi Shankara's time they had it. Kodrava is like a wild rice, and if you buy wild rice in the market, then there is it's got a lot of husk and everything. So this kodrava was known for its heavy husk or many layers of husks, and which had to be removed to show what the kodrava rice looks like. And so now the anesha aneka tusha tusha is the covering, the so-called husk. Tusha kodrava vitushikaranena iva. Karana means the removal, the peeling of these husks. Tad antargata tandulan. So, if supposing there is a tandula ipsuhu, there is a someone who desires the tandula, the rice, the grain. So, somebody who desires to see the kodrava, then what will he or she do? He or she will systematically peel all the husks, will dehusk that grain, and then you are able to see the grain. And in a similar manner, the Shastra says, you are, what happens here, that this is the way the Panchakosha Prakriya, the five kosha Prakriya, what does it do? It removes all these various wrong notions. And in removing the wrong notions, through Brahma Vidya, through understanding what this Brahman is, and that Brahman as myself alone, when I understand these kinds of wrong notions go away, they fall back as the husks of the kodrava, which is to be revealed. Okay. So now you see what kind of mistake the Shruti removes. Shruti is not removing your personal mistake. Shruti is removing a collective mistake. And the collective mistake with regard to the internalization of the I is happening on 5 levels. Oh, but maybe there are three levels in between the levels. Let there be. We are only looking at 5 general levels to which everybody can relate. Because if I did not think, if supposing somebody did not confuse themselves to be the prana, then there is no need for this teaching. But if one person confused themselves to be the prana and the other person confused themselves to be the tree, or the third one said, I am a mushroom, then this Shruti will not work. This is what we talk about, a universal mistake in the form of something that cannot be removed other than cognitively. So it is an arthadhyasa mistake, and it is the self-evident I, where The self-evident I is taken itself. It is too self-evident to not take it for something, and at the same time, it not being an object. I take it to be the body because what is available is immediately the body. And so the Deha becomes the locus where the mistake is committed. Therefore, it becomes a kosha. This is what Bhashyakara points out. So this is avidya krita, avidya kalpita. Dehe atma buddhi. This is avidya kalpitam, created by purely avidya. And so this ignorance is the common thing. That is our original capital because of which we come together. This is this is what it is. And based on this ignorance, this is what it is. It is so here is the I being mistaken for the body. It is a universal mistake, and at the same time it is a personal mistake. Personal mistake means pratibhasika. It is still pratibhasika, but it is a form of a collective pratibhasika. And therefore it has to be removed. And this against the self-evident Atma, whatever mistake you commit means you have to take it for what it is not, because it is already Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So if you take it for something else, then you have to conclude I am Dehadishu Atma Buddhi, then Manasi Atma Buddhi, Prane Atma Buddhi. This is what it is. So this is the avidya here is in the form of the collective unconscious, leading to a collective projection. I am as good as the body. 8 billion people are thinking. And this is just people. Even the dog has Dehatma Buddhi. Cat has Dehatma Buddhi. And so therefore, this is the same thing. The ajnanam is collective, and then it is also individual. It is individual because see, don't get very happy and say ajnanam is collective. That means what? Then we get into a particular kind of a dangerous subset of the Vedanta philosophy, which says, what does it say? If one person gets enlightened, then everybody is enlightened. Ayyo, how nice. Then all you have to do is designate one person and say, jao, go to the Guru ke paas jao. Go to the Guru, sit in front of the Guru and sweat it out. 12 years you study, and then we will send you some donation, and then we will all get enlightened. When you get enlightened, we'll just send you some donation, and then once in a while we'll send you, because ashram means there's not much variety of food, etc. Once in a while we'll send you some care package. We'll send you some what is that, dried fruits and nuts and everything, and then you just have a good time. You study nicely, because mind you, your enlightenment, upon your enlightenment depends my enlightenment. No. It is that, therefore, the mistake is collective, and at the same time, it is personal. That this is why everybody has to study, alas, but this is how it is. So, one person, even in a family, if one person, gains the knowledge, the other people do not get the knowledge without them studying. Although the Mundakopanishad is very optimistic. The Mundakopanishad at the end is going to declare, Natasya kule abrahmavit bhavati. So, if one person knows Brahman in their whole family and friend circle, there is not a single person who is ignorant. Not because of some osmosis. You just go and, rub against the person who has Atma Vidya, and then, oh, lo and behold, you stop crying. No, I wish that were the case. But this is because the person of self-knowledge is only talking Vedanta. Whether to the milkmaid or to the gardener or to anybody who is, who is in the family. Somebody drops in for tea and they start talking Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Which brings me to the next point. That's why Jnanis do not have many visitors. Okay? Because, visitor means you visit a person to get some little news, neighborhood news, gossip, something you have to have, something you need to be talking about. And then Brahman, oh, you don't know anything about Brahman to talk about. And only Atma Jnani, the Brahma Jnani alone knows about Brahman. And the Brahma Jnani, of course, it's always a one-way conversation. You have to sit and listen. And your whole tea also gets cold, and you can't even enjoy the tea because you are only listening to Brahman. That's why this is the reason why jnanis do not have many visitors. And when the visitors come also, they stay for 5-10 minutes and then they go away. Darshan ho gaya, finished. I have had darshan and stayed for some time and then go away. This is the reason. But if they choose to stay, there is no way that they will not see. There is no way that they will not see. Because they're not interested in, oh, how is your body? What body? How is your mind? What mind? Never mind. And how is your family? What family? Did you eat lunch? Yeah, I had lunch. How was it? Who remembers? How was it? Who cares? Well, who remembers means you don't remember because you don't care enough to remember. You're not reliving the lunch, and you're not regurgitating the lunch all the time in your mind and thinking about. So therefore, this is how it is. This is exactly how it is. And so here that's why the person who chooses to stay despite this kind of a rules of engagement with the teacher, the person who continues to stay, who has the staying power, there's no way of not knowing this. There's no way of not knowing this. That is what it means. It doesn't mean that one person gains the knowledge means everybody can say Dhanyoham and then everybody is enlightened. No, that is not how it works. That's why it's a collective mistake, but then it is also an individual personal mistake. And therefore it has to be tackled individually. While I appreciate that it's a collective mistake, I tackle it individually. Neither do I appoint somebody to get rid of the mistake on my behalf. Nor do I extort everyone else, please come and listen because you are all having the mistake. No, you yourself are interested in removing the mistake for yourself while appreciating the fact that it's a collective mistake. This is how it goes. And so then the subject matter of the Shastra is being only Pratyagatma as Brahman. That is the subject matter. And the mistake is being pointed out that so that it can be corrected. There is no other reason. The Shastra is not committed to showing all the mistakes. The Shastra is not doing dosha darshanam. It's not showing the mistakes. What is it doing? It's showing that it's making you feel good by showing it's not only you, but it's a universal mistake. Everybody commits this mistake. This is what it is. And so, therefore, Annamaya, there was a mistake. Correct? And so then what? So then from there, if you go straight to Brahman, this we have discussed earlier, then the person is left completely flummoxed. Why? Because the mistake is like a many layered cake. So in between the cake, there will be some, what is that, icing, which is very bad for health. Okay, it's all for just cream and sugar and all these things. And so, so it's like this. Let's say it's a 5-layered cake. So then you think, oh, this is it. No, no, no. There is one more. There is one more layer. There is one more layer. There is one more layer. So like this, there is a many layered mistake. A mistake with many, many layers. The same mistake. And what is the same mistake? I is equal to I am. And that is Satyam. And then that Satyam goes and joins the mistake at the body. I am is equal to mind. And goes and joins the mind. I am is equal to prana. Like this, it joins all kinds of wrong things. And so that's what is the mistake. So when the Annamaya is taken care of, then when you immediately say, okay, now you have really disbanded, the mistake connected to the body, then let us talk about Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Therefore, Tasmad, Va, Tasmad Vai, Tvam, Tat, Tvam Asi. If you say that, then either the person will go to sleep or the person, if they are awake, will just blink at you like this, like, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? So the person can only be taken so far, just a little bit. This is what is that we have seen the maxim here, Shakha Chandra Nyayavat. So we are just like seeing the, or Arundhati, even better, Arundhati Darshana Nyaya. This Arundhati is a tiny star. You cannot see it at all. You have to acclimatize yourself to see it. Slowly you have to see it. You have to see the pole star. Then you have to see, go to the left and go to the group of seven sages, they are called. And then out of that, one of them you have to see. And then that one, next to that, then you have to see something else. And then after that, you have to see Arundhati. So like this, immediately you cannot see. So therefore, in falsifying the Annamaya Kosha as the, Atma, in a very ingenious way, Annamaya is Atma, Atma is not Annamaya. It's all this one-way negation. Through a strategic one-way negation, then the Shastra lands you where? To the next possible place where the mistake is committed. And what is the next possible place where the mistake is committed? Prana. That is the next possible place the mistake is committed. So then from Annamaya you cannot go to Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Already it was pointed out. But from Annamaya you can only go to the next possible mistake. But then how do you recognize that as the mistake? How do you recognize Pranamaya as the mistake? Slowly I am coming out of Annamaya, and if I had the capacity for the person who is just coming out of Annamaya, by falsifying that, if they had the capacity to see the Pranamaya as the mistake, then there is no need for Pranamaya Kosha discussion at all. So what is the ingenious, this methodology here, the kosha method, prakriya, this pancha kosha prakriya, we have to understand very, very clearly. And what is this ingenious method? The ingenious method is because of this particular way in which one is taken at the doorstep of prana. We'll see what prana is, the 5 airs, etc. We'll see that. So one is taken and left at the doorstep of prana, anyantara atma pranamaya. No. You are not Annamaya. I am is equal to the body, big cross, bad, gone. Oh, then what am I? Why? Do you see there is another I there? There is another place of identification. Yeah, I must be Pranamaya. Yes, you are Pranamaya. Or rather, yes, Pranamaya is you. And then that is again totally revealed to be a mistake. Now, how did you know that Pranamaya was the mistake? Well, I surmised it with my mind. Aha, mind is Atma. Wonderful. Okay, Manomaya I am. Great. Let me go there. No. Mind is not Atma. Atma is not the mind. Why? Because there is one more place of identification hiding possible. Why? What is that place? That place is seeing myself to be the karta, the doer. And then so that is the Atma. No. What about the experiencer? Experiencer is Atma. No. The truth of the experience is Brahman. That is Atma. So you have to go step by step. You cannot teach a 5-year-old calculus. It won't even know how to spell calculus. Forget learning calculus. For the 5-year-old, it is 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. This is addition, multiplication. You have to, even multiplication is too much. You have to teach simple addition. And with only you can go up to 10, because that's how many fingers the child has. So you show what is 2, 1, 2. And then you add 2 more, 1, 2. Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, what a discovery. That's all is possible. That's exactly what is possible. Nothing more is possible before that or beyond that. And so, therefore, through this very ingenious way of showing this each Atma to be true, each Atma is to be true. True means what? Mithyatma. Mithyatma means the Atma which is there, which is the empirical Atma. Empirically speaking, this is Atma. So then, so when this is shown as mithya, the Annamaya is shown as mithya. What is Paramarthika Atma? The Paramarthika is the next level, Pranamaya and Manomaya, etc., etc., etc. And so, therefore, you have to go Anyantaratma, Anyantaratma. This is why it goes. And one may argue, this is a small side note and a very important side note, small but yet an important side note. One may say, well, the Shastra is actually misleading me. Why is the Shastra asking me to identify with prana when I am not the prana? Why is the Shastra then encouraging me to identify with the mind only to be told, for me to be told that I am not the mind? Is this fair? Is the Shastra, basically taking me for a ride? Is the Shastra, to use a modern term, trolling me? No, the answer is no. Because we see the same methodology in other Upanishads as well. In the 8th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, we have these two characters, Indra and Virochana, who are convinced the body is I. And in the first teaching, Prajapati, the teacher, brings in a big vat of water and invites the two men. One is the king of the gods and the other one is the king of the asuras, demons. From the demonic realm he has come, totally unprepared for this knowledge. So he tells them, gentlemen, you want to see the Atma? Yes, yes, yes. Please look at the Atma. Here is the Atma. He points to the water and then they look at themselves. I mean, their reflection. They look at the reflection of the body and they just pose there. Each one twirls their mustache and then slaps their biceps and then slaps their chest and then says, oh, what a handsome Atma it is. Fantastic Atma, I'm so glad I know. And then one of them thinks I have the knowledge and goes away. The other one, Indra, stays behind because he has Punya Vishesha. He has some Punya to be able to continue with his teaching. And so here, this is something which has to be understood properly. There also Adi Shankara gives in the Bhashya, gives a wonderful defense. First ask the question, can Prajapati be accused, can the teacher be accused of misleading these two students? Because the Virochana ends up going away with that mistaken impression because he has neither the patience nor the perseverance to stay and look at this at all. He has no patience. He just goes away. And then what? And then goes and opens perhaps some kind of a Gurukula where only the body is eulogized. He's like some kind of a ancient body shop he opens, where there is massage, where there is all kinds of body treatments. That's what it is. Asura Vidya Gurukulam, he opens and then he sits there. And then Indra comes back because of his preparation, his inner preparation, Shamadama and Uparati, Shraddha, etc. He comes back and he says, wait a minute. If the reflection is disturbed by a ripple, that means the Atma is gone. If the reflection is Atma, then it is disturbed by a stone falling in the water. A mere pebble can displace the Atma, which is supposed to be unchanging. How is that possible? Then to that question, again Prajapati teaches him one more time, little more, like this. And so Adi Shankara defends the Shruti very beautifully and says that you can only go so far where the person's mind is stuck. Beyond that, you cannot go. So the teaching has to just address that. And besides, knowledge cannot be given to somebody who's not prepared. So therefore, Prajapati stopped short of giving Virochana the full teaching and allowed him to go away. He could have called him back, but he said it's of no use. He knew that. And so it's the same way here too. This the Panchakosha Prakriya of taking you a little further and allowing you to believe, allowing you, leading you on. It's not leading you on because you already believe. It is you already think you are the body, you already think you are the sum total of the prana, you already think you are the mind, you already identify with the doership and the receivership, experiencership, whatever you want to call it, enjoyership. So you keep abandoning one ship and then another ship you keep on, you're already doing that. Shastra is not leading you on. It is continuing with that association which is already there, which has been internalized. It is continuing with that identification which is already ensconced as you are convinced you are the body. And it's not just that you are convinced you are the body, you are equally convinced that you are the prana, you are simultaneously convinced you are the mind. So from one strategic and conscious disidentification, you are taken to the next level and you are made to stand there. And then for the time being, you have something to hold on to so that you believe in this. You are already believing in this until that is also completely taken away through this knowledge. This is what the thing is. And so then you finally come to the experiencer. The experiencer is what? The experiencer goes away, leaving in its wake Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Therefore, he says, which is Brahman. Therefore, he says, Annamayadibhyaha Anandamayebhyaha Antebhyaha Atmabhyaha. So all Kalpita Atma. That's why it is plural. It's not that there are many Atmabhyaha means there are not many Atmas. But the so-called I notion, which is identified with all these various things that are taken to be the Atmas. That's why these various Atmas we have got now. And so this Annamaya, Atma, Pranamaya till the end. So starting with Annamaya all the way to Anandamaya, Abhyantaratamam, Abhitaha Antaratamam, that which is within again, so to speak, within. It's not really within. It's innermost from the standpoint of the enquiry, from going where you don't come back. There is no more thing to say. There is nothing to go. There is nowhere to go, nothing to say. It's like the sanctum sanctorum of the temple, so to speak. It's the sanctum sanctorum of the Shastra, not a location. Not a location. And there is no, and it's so, the knowledge is like an inner pilgrimage. And therefore, this is Brahma Vidya, where you look at Brahman Pratyagatmatvena Didarshaishu Shastram. So the Shastram is teaching you, the Shastra is teaching you to own up Brahman as yourself, Vidyaya. Vidyaya means through this knowledge, and then so this is this is what it is, and then so then one by one, each one is first you identify with it. It's not that you identify with it. First, the identification is highlighted, and then it is negated. And how avidyakrita panchakosha apanayanena. So that which is born of avidya, that which is a creation of avidya, like Annamaya, etc., that which converts the Annamaya into kosha. Annamaya objective, kosha subjective. This is what it is. Because there is achhadanam involved, there is a covering involved, because that avidya covers. So Shastram Prastauti. Prastauti doesn't mean praise. Stu to praise, second conjugation. Prastauti here means it engages, the Shastra engages, the Shastra continues. Pravartate ityartha, the Shastra proceeds at every level, first to affirm that identification and then to negate that identification. And in affirming the identification, it affirms the partial identification. Prana is you, because everything is you. Prana is you. You are not prana. You are more than the prana. So then, where does that leave us? So then this is and he gives the example of the Kodrava and the Tandula. How to, just like the husking of the grain, Tusha means the cover. So the Vitushikaranam means by removing the husk, how the grain is shown. Similarly, the avidya parikalpita atma, which is a kosha, is to be removed like the husk. And then the only difference is the grain is an object and the husk is an object, and the two belong to the same order of reality. Here, that which covers is your personal mistake, and then it is mithya, it is pratibhasika, and that which is covered is atma, which is paramarthika, that which is as though covered is paramarthika. And so therefore there is really, it's not an object. So that now that's why you get the vata tasmad va etasmad atmanah tasmad va etasmad annarasmayat anyontara atma pranamaya. Let us chant that. Where is that? Tasmad va etasmad atmana. No, I'm chanting the other one. One second. Anyontara atma apranamaya तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविध एव तस्य पुरुषविधताम् अन्वयम् पुरुषविधः तस्य प्राण एव शिरः व्यानो दक्षिणः पक्षः अपान उत्तरः पक्षः आकाश आत्मा पृथिवी पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. So, tasmat vai etasmat atmanah annarasamayat anyontara atma pranamayah tenaisha purnah. Let us just look at that much. Okay. So, tasmad vai etasmat. So, tasmat means from that Brahman. Tasmat always from Tat Shabda. Tat means Brahman. Tasmat means from that Brahman. Why? Indeed. Why is he's going to say in the Bhashya Smaranartham, to remember, to recall that Tasmat is actually Etasmat. That Tat is Etat. That Tat is this. That is this. That Brahman is indeed this Atma, to remind ourselves. That is how the Shruti uses the particle Vai. And then Tasmat, then we should remember that. What is that? That is, we should remember this Prakritam Brahma. Tad Tasmat Brahmana, from that Brahman. And Etasmat refers to what? Atma. From that Brahman, which is Atma. From that alone, from which Akasha, all the Bhutani, all the various Bhutas came, various 5 elements, etc. came. That Atma, Etasmat, that I know. And then, so the Panchami is for Prithak Karanam. So the fifth case is to separate. From that, Anyontara Atma Pranamaya means now we have many Atmas, so to speak. So the second Atma, so to speak, where the identification is there, is Pranamaya. And then, so not that you have to say, before I went to the Shastra, I was confused about one Atma. Now I have five Atmas about which I am confused. No. Atma here is, just so to speak, the I. So that's what the I is identified with these 5 places, and it is slowly being negated. And how is it being negated? It is not being negated by some kind of a dissociation. And the negation, even though it's called technically a negation, it's an embrace. It's so beautiful. And that's what we saw. It was just so moving. In the Annamaya Kosha, we saw this embrace. Why? That Anna, this Annam Brahma, this Annam is nothing but Bhagavan. And that is Virad Atma in the form of the tangible Bhagavan, in the form of the manifest universe, where food is comprises a very big part of manifest universe. In fact, the whole universe is nothing but food. Either you are eaten or you are eating. You are eating something or you are eaten by something, only possible things. And then, but what about spoons and forks? Those are the instruments of eating, again connected to food. Everything is connected to food. And then the food is Bhagavan. It is just amazing. And this body, which is the byproduct of food, which is the product of food, is again Bhagavan. And it is, see, this is not really a negation. It's just a so-called negation, but it is an embrace of the entire universe and the glorification of this body as Bhagavan, the glorification of food as Bhagavan, and that which has come from this food is Bhagavan, which is in the form of this body. That is the negation. The negation is through this whole embrace. The same thing will happen with regard to the prana also. So then, everything is Atma, Akasha, Atma, Vayu, Atma, everything is Atma. Body is also Atma, but Atma is not the body. Why? Anyantara Atma. Because the Atma that just went before has now become Bhagavan. It has been Ishwarized. And I am this body is Mithya. So therefore, that has been negated. It's not that the body is negated. I am the body, iti notion is negated. The notion is negated. The negation is always notional. So the negation is at the level of the notion, I am the body. It is not anywhere else. And so Deha is Atma, Atma is not the body. This is what the Shruti says. And then what? Pranamaya. Why? Because here also there is a mistake. Prana is I am not the prana. This has to be corrected. And so for right now, we are standing at the gates of prana. And then this is going to be corrected, and this also has to be set right. Now let us read the Bhashya here. Where did it go? Let us see. Yeah. This is also to be set right. How is it going to be set right? Let us see here. 1 second. Tasmadvai.
Tasmadvai.
Etasmad.
Etasmad.
Yathoktat anna rasamayat.
Yathoktat annarasamayat.
Pindat.
Pindat.
Anyah vyatiriktah.
Anyah vyatiriktah.
Antarah abhyantarah.
Antarah abhyantarah.
Atma.
Atma.
Pindavat eva.
Pindavat eva.
Atmatvena. Mithya parikalpitah.
Mithya parikalpitah.
Atmatvena.
Atmatvena.
Pranamayah.
Pranamayah.
That's enough, because that itself is a lot. It's very full. The Bhashya is very, very full in this area. Very clear, but very full. So he says, Tasmat vai etasmat means yathoktat. Yatha uktat. How it was said before. How tasmat vai etasmat means as it was said before. Where was it said before? In the Shruti itself. तस्माद् वा एतस्माद् आत्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः इत्यादि. As it was said before, Anna Rasamaya Pindat, from this Anna Rasamaya, from this Pinda means body, from this body, which is Anna Vikara, which is a modification of food, Anyaha, means vyatiriktaha, a separate, antaraha, and innermost, inner, further in. In means not that it is, in. It is just that the pranamaya pervades, is more pervasive than the annamaya. Because the prana pervades the whole body. The prana pervades the whole body, and and so it is because of the maxim that which is subtle pervades, is more pervasive than that which is solid, which is gross. You find this same thing. You take a cube of ice. A cube of ice will only occupy a certain, let's say 1 cubic inch. It will occupy. Then it flows. When it flows, it becomes water. It is more pervasive. It will occupy, who knows in what pattern it will flow, and it will occupy more space. Then when it is vapor, it occupies even more space. So that which is subtle, pervades that which is gross. This is more pervasive than that which is gross. That is the idea. So, Pindartha Vyatiriktaha Antaraha means Abhyantaraha, Abhitaha Antaraha. Innermost means more pervasive. Atma Pindavat Eva. So, Pindavat, this Atma means the Atma here is not Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Atma means the I as which is equal to the body. Like the I which is as good as the body, mithya parikalpitah. So it is notional. This is what I was talking about. It is notional. And then what? And then the mithya parikalpitah atmatvena pranamaya. He is defining what is prana. So anyaha, separate, vyatiriktaha, separate from annama rasamaya. Separate means what? It is within the annamaya itself, there is another I notion. And therefore abhyantara, separate. And it is within and it is separate. It is included in that and is separate. And separate means don't look somewhere outside. So it is within that scope of this body, etc. And it is still separate because the identification is separate. Then tena eshaha. Eshaha means what? Annarasamayaha, dehaha, purnaha. So by that pranamaya, this body is filled. That's why the prana gets a form. Prana has no form. But when it is attached, so to speak, when it is identified with a certain body, it gets a certain form. It is dependent upon the body to have that form. That's why it is more pervasive. Prana is much more pervasive because it has no form. But here, for the sake of analysis, we are going to give it a form. That is the whole idea. Just like we gave the body a form. Tasya idame bashiraha. Ayam dakshinah pakshah. Ayam uttarah pakshah. Ayam atma. This is what, idam pucham pratishtha. We saw all that. How the body of the human being was the body here. Because we are talking about a body. There is no need to imagine anything. But here there is a visualization involved, taking that same bird metaphor, Pakshi metaphor. There is a visualization involved all the way to illustrate the various loci of error. So it is a kalpita, mithya kalpita. That's why he says mithya kalpita means where it is given a particular form, and that is in the form of a bird. Now you say, why? I'm happy with prana having no form. Why do you want to go and give prana a form? Well, here it is for the sake of upasana. Just like we did annam brahma upasana, we did brahmopasana in the form of annam. So we saw how to do, this is this sharira is annamaya, like that, to contemplate on this body as that which has come from annam, that which is sustained by annam, that which goes back to annam. We saw that meditation, and we saw the fruits of that meditation also. Here too, this is seen, the bird imagery is very important, because otherwise it is very difficult to see it as an upasana. because the Shruti is presenting it as an upasana at every level. But why? So that if that is where one is at, one can feel happy. Oh, I am not really interested in Atma Jnanam. I just want to do some Upasana. Then the Upanishad tricks you, because after you do the Upasana, what happens? You get ready for self knowledge and you keep asking the question, why I'm not, why Pranamaya is me, but I'm not Pranamaya. You start asking that. So therefore, this is the prana gets a kalpita form. For the sake of upasana, it is in the for upasana prapti, you imagine it as a bird. And all the kalpana you can do. Shiraf pranadi akritimat, akritiman, you can say. And then you can, you can do it as a, there it was Virat upasana. Virat means the Bhagavan in the form of the manifest world. And here it is Bhagavan. When you do pranopasana, it is Bhagavan in the form of the subtle form of Bhagavan called Hiranyagarbha Upasana. Two are separate, but please make a note of it. So, Anaya, yes, I am back. Something happened. I don't know. So it just went away. So this at the level of this Annam Brahma iti upasana, it is Viradatma, Virad upasana. Bhagavan in the form of the manifest world. But here, Pranopasana, which is going to be given, is Bhagavan in the form of the subtle world, Hiranyagarbha, the potential to create. Because prana is subtle, that's why. So even Manaha also again a form of Hiranyagarbha Upasana, because the mind is also subtle. So then it is Upasana. Then, so therefore, you are asked to meditate, or if you don't want to meditate, it's okay. But because it is called meditation, it is called this whole setup is given. Bhashyakara will take it as a meditation, but you can do the meditation just to get some goodies out of pranamaya upasana, or you can do it for antahkarana shuddhi in order to gain this knowledge. Either way, it is presented. Avidya parikalpitah, mithya parikalpitascha. So it is mithya and it is parikalpita. Means then, that's how you have to take it as a karmadharya. So mithya parikalpita. And otherwise, if it's mithya parikalpita means it's not just that which is, falsely imagined. No, no. Because imagination is false anyway. So mithya, it is mithya and it will be parikalpita. That's how you get this mithyatma. What is that? How is it parikalpita? Atmatvena parikalpita. Atmatvena parikalpita. And what is that? Pranamaya. Mithya pranamaya. But it is taken right now by you as what? Paramarthika. You say you take that to be the I. And the Upanishad allows that for the time being so that you can hold on to the one thing after leaving the other thing. And then that also will be dropped in the light of seeing the prana as non-separate from Atma, but Atma is not prana, and seeing the prana as non-separate from Hiranyagarbha. This is what the idea is. More we shall see tomorrow. We are on a nice pace and moving forward in the Pranamaya portion. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ. Thank you. Bodhasara will be there in the night class. All right.